Here's a quick video about the robot lawnmower. So here's the RS station. This receives the transmission from satellites and sends it to the robot. You can see it picks it up here, and there's the antenna that it sends it out through. Now you can put that anywhere that will facilitate the robot seeing the same satellites as that receiver. And if you take a look, at my lawn. I haven't touched it since I received the mower, the robot, and it's on a schedule. It does it according to that schedule and according to the weather. If it's raining, it won't work. So here's the lawn. See how good it cuts? Very nice job. Take a look here. This is where the mower charges. It will have a garage top on it. It'll have a roof on it tomorrow. I've ordered that. It's going to be here tomorrow. So this is where it charges. I need to move those cables. So it takes care of that yard. It takes care of the front out by the street. It does this piece here between the houses. And you can see it finished this up about an hour ago. It finished this. And I'm actually going to try out the function where you can draw your name, or you can put symbols or pictures in your lawn. So there's what the lawn looks like. I'm probably going to let it get going and get here in a minute. There's a few spots over here that it didn't finish. It went back to recharge, but you can see it did cut this 2 days ago, but it didn't finish it today because it was going to recharge, and I told it to stop. But there's what the lawn looks like with the robot. It does a really good job. Does the whole thing. It does have some issues according to time of day, stuff like that. It might lose signal and set while it's thinking sometimes for a while, but it doesn't matter. That's not for you to worry about. Just let it go. There it goes. I don't know why it's starting out. I didn't tell it to do that. I guess the schedule. I guess it's the schedule. That's kind of weird. I did not know that was going to happen. But there it is. I'm probably going to stop that one. I'll let it go. We'll see what happens. Well, anyway, there it goes. Totally unscripted. Didn't know that was going to happen. So, okay, there's what the lawn looks like. So this was recorded right after dark, right after the sun went down. You can see the headlights come on the unit. I just wanted to show how it works at night. The camera's still picking up good, pulling in a lot of light, but the sun has gone down. You can see the lights come on there. You kind of get an idea of how it works. And here is me changing the blades. You can see they're only they're 1-inch blades. They're just 1-inch razor blades. There's 5 of them. They come off with a regular Phillips head screwdriver. I used a little tool, power tool, to get them off. But you can use a regular Phillips screwdriver to take it apart, and you have to keep the wheels cleaned out, and there's some grass that accumulates inside the deck there. And other than that, all you do is make sure that you keep the sensors clean, the cameras and the detectors, motion detectors. There's I think 5 different sensors across the thing, and if you make sure that those are cleaned every time you go around it, just wipe them off. It's no big deal, just wipe them off. And later in the video you'll see that this was the last time that I serviced this unit or cleaned it. And you'll see it at the end, because we're getting towards the end of the season now, and you'll see how dirty it is because I haven't cleaned it at all. And it's as easy as this. When you go to clean it, just hold it up. It'll set up on its end. You can just set it up on its end and rinse it off. That's all there is to it. Pick it up by the front. Anytime you go to pick it up, it will automatically stop, and it will lock out. It'll do a safety lock. Okay, so this is actually where the machine lives. Let me get this straightened up a little bit here. And there's actually a top on it, but there is it's a little spot for it to, it's a little driveway. It's a little spot for it to back into. So there's a little spot that it backs into, and it backs into this little V-shaped area, and these knives right here make contact, and that's what starts the charge. Now it does this all by itself. You don't have to tell it when to charge. Now it should always do this by itself, but it's been off the charger. The battery's dead. So I'm gonna hook it up now. This is what the app looks like when it comes online. It's offline now because it has no power. So we're gonna get it set up and get it charging. Now, I haven't ever cleaned this thing since I owned it. Since I bought it, it's never been cleaned. I don't know if these, yeah, they do. The contacts are dirty, so I'm gonna clean those. And there's mud on the little driveway, so that has been affecting its charging. It doesn't like to, it rolls back a little bit. When it does that, it doesn't get charged good. So there's a little eye inside this thing that knows when the lawnmower's getting near, and have that cleaned off. And I got a message from the robot that said that its camera eye was dirty and needed to be cleaned. So that's what I just did. We changed the blades. That's pretty much all there is to that I'm doing to this. I don't know of any particular service that needs to be done. Yeah. So that's it. I'm going to get this thing charging again, and I'll show you in a little while. I will show you here in a few minutes. In the next clip, I'll show you it working. Show you the app. So let me get it over here and get it charging. Alright, it's charging. The lights came on. Hear that noise? That's the sound of blades. Really cool sound. It makes it sound like like ninja knives or something. So there's that part. That's the cleaning that I do to it. First time I've done it, and get some more shots of it working here in a little while. Let's take a look at what the app looks like right now. As it's so it connected. It came back on again, connected, and said the robot is low, which I knew that. Now it's mid-cut. It's halfway through cutting the front yard, and it's at 0%. Now when it got down to about 12%, it brought itself back here and put itself on the charger. Now I stopped it from charging because I wanted to change the blades. So it would have charged up to about, I think, 90%, and then it would have went on and finished the job and then came back. So there's where we're at. Okay, we have the lawnmower is charged. We got charge on it again. So it's charged up to a position. It's ready to go. I'm going to show you a look at the screen. Let's take a look. I think that's getting the screen. Is it getting the screen? All right. It's hard to get this thing to. Okay. There we have the screen, and screen says it's 74%. It's telling me to push to continue. It's going to go where it left off. It parks itself for a recharge, and we're getting ready to. And while it was down, I took it apart and we replaced the blades, did some little maintenance on it, cleaned the cameras, and we're going to let it go, and you can get a look at what it looks like when it's going. So I'm going to tell it to go. And you heard it said continue working. Now this thing uses AI, onboard AI. It uses AI through the company. It has a onboard 4G phone. It uses, so it connects with satellites. Uses GPS. Uses your Wi-Fi that is bled out of your house. Kind of bleeds out into your area. It uses that. It uses the Bluetooth that is in your house or on your from your phone. It kind of connects onto those, and it connects the RTK station, which is kind of like a repeater. You set that into your yard. That picks up the signal from the satellite and relays it to the mower, and does all the communicating and communicates with the mower. So the mower is riding on there's a little track that you set beforehand that gives it access through certain areas. You set those up before you start, and that tells the mower, hey, if you're coming from the back to the front yard, this is where I want you to go. It gives it a pathway. It's called a channel. It gives it a channel to get to its work area. The yard's really getting in bad shape. We've had a really hot summer, and It's really starting to get in bad shape. But at least I haven't had to be out here cutting it. This is the most that I've been out here this year, and that's to record it doing the work for me. So there it goes. That's where it left off when it ran out of battery. Now it did the front part of the yard, it did part of the side and part of the back before it got here. So that gives you an idea on how much it'll use on a charge. Now it is using a lot more battery than it was before. I used to could get just about, I could get all of this without a charge, without a recharge. There are some settings on the app that allow you to speed up the blades. It does give you a much finer cut with some, if you have dense grass, it'll give you a much finer cut, but it uses the battery much faster. So this is my first go around on that, and so we'll see how that works. And with the new blades, we should get a much better cut, which I had no problem with the cut before, but should really be good now. So beforehand, you tell the mower how you want it to cut. You can have it cut on a diagonal, you know, however you want it cut. You can even write letters in the grass. You can write, there's pictures, hearts, football, baseball, you know, sports emblems, all those things you can actually write into your yard, and then every week it won't cut that. It lets that grow, cuts everything else around it, and you have this nice pattern in your yard. But you tell it how you want it to cut, and you tell it how many times to do the edge of the yard and how to do that. You also tell it how to turn. I have it set to a 0 turn. That does damage the yard a little bit because it turns on a dime. It turns exactly where it stops. You can have it do a 3-point turnaround, which takes much longer. It uses a lot more battery, but it doesn't tear up your lawn. In wet conditions, this can, I've seen it rip parts of the lawn while it's turning. But there it is. It's using this front camera. Right there. See, it's trying to avoid me. I messed up my cut. I messed up my cut there. I'm gonna have to fix that. Let's see if it fixes it. Let's see if it goes back and fixes it. I don't think it will. I'll have to go back and manually do that. Because it thinks there's an object there now. Maybe it will. Okay, it's gonna go back and fix it. All right, so it knows that it was a human and that I moved. All right, so there it is. I'll give you a shot of it when it's finished. I'll show you the back when it's finished. I'll have it cut the back, give you a shot of the whole yard and the backyard when it's finished. There it goes. All right, the last bit of film, the last bit of recording was in early spring, and we are now in early fall, and the Yucca Mini is going at it. I haven't had to cut the yard at all this year. We had some incredibly hot days. I believe we had about a 3-week string of in the 90s, some heat indexes like 107 or something, so it was incredibly hot summer. I haven't had to cut the yard at all this year. I have trimmed it up. I've ran the trimmer. I have gotten the lawnmower out a couple of times to do little sections. About every 4 weeks, I get the lawnmower out. About every week I get the trimmer out because I like to have my sidewalk edged. So I have been doing that just at my convenience. But it's great to not have to have that on my schedule. Not have to worry about it. I can just look outside sometimes at 3 in the morning and this thing is out there doing its job. Doesn't bother anybody. You're not even aware of it. There have been a few instances, there have been quite a few instances where, you know, it has a problem. Now you can either leave it alone and it'll figure it out. Sometimes it'll lose contact with satellites, and for some reason the cell phone signal, usually it's when it's between buildings, when it doesn't get a good satellite signal, it'll lose where it's at and it'll just set. It'll send you a message that it's stuck, and you can either drive it manually through the first person view on your phone screen. You can drive it into where it sees a good clear signal, or you can go out in your yard and move it into a area where it feels like it's better. And if you do one of those, or you can just wait. If you just wait, normally it will figure it out. It might take 20 minutes, but it'll figure it out. It'll eventually get a good satellite signal and it'll just start doing its thing. Right now it's going around kind of doing all the little edging. It's trying to figure out, there's some real uneven areas on this part of the lawn, so it's trying to figure out what it needs to do best. But it does a good job at it. I haven't had to come out here and cut the grass all year. Like I said, I have had to trim, and a couple of sections that I have gotten the lawnmower out just to make them look better. But this area here is where it has always lost its signal, and it tells me it's stuck. And I think this, between the two houses, I think it can't get a good signal from the horizon. I think the satellite's on the horizon, however it is, that's where it has its problem. So seems like the phone SIM would kick in, and it also uses the Bluetooth in your house. So seems like between those things that it would come on and go on, but it hasn't been a terrible issue. So yeah, there it is, the Yuka Mini. I have gone a whole summer without cutting my yard. Here's the garage. There's the charging pad in the garage. You have to buy the garage separately, and you have to buy the phone SIM, the phone connection. You have to buy that separately. But you don't have to have those for it to work. It works, I would say, almost as good with none of that stuff. But there it is. I've changed the blades. Here's the video of me changing
Do it for this
the blades.
video. Remember, I have a lot of videos coming out. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I wanted to let you know I have a new channel. It's called Democracy on Defense. If you're interested in our democracy and what it's going to take to keep it, if you would like to join in on the conversation, if you think that you can do something to help out, we want everybody from all sides. We want to get everybody together. We want to get some talking going on, some conversation. So check that channel out. Subscribe to it. I'm going to be live streaming. So if you don't subscribe, you won't know when I'm live. I got to get some subscribers over there. So check it out. The link will be in the description. The name is Democracy on Defense. And If you're not subscribed to this channel, please do so. Leave some comments in the bottom. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what you think. And remember, they may do it another way, but that's the way I do it. We'll see you next time.
Bye.